What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to give you a good breakdown and overview of Polestar and where things might be potentially going from here. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. Without further ado, let's get right to it. So currently it is green, and it's nice change to see at least one EV is green today. Did hit a high of $3.95, so a lot of good kind of momentum behind the scenes, but I'm going to break it down on what exactly is happening with Polestar and why it's up. So more of a joke, why it is up is probably because of this tweet right here. And it is Jim Cramer just saying that he's not sure about Polestar. And of course, anything inverse Cramer potentially, this is why it's a very positive sign. So probably a lot of people just saw this and went out and bought Polestar. But of course, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. When it comes down to it, there is no tentative news, no SEC filings. There was a good article that did come out though, and I've really been saying this exact same thing for a while now. The fact that Polestar is one of the only pure global EV plays that hit their 2022 targets, and in reality could probably easily hit their 2023 targets. And especially with the US dollar starting to go down, definitely it's a little bit more incentivizing for Polestar to now market at least full force in the States as well and North America. So I think generally speaking, based on their recent earnings, that was the only thing and the only justification why they haven't really had that big of a presence in the States. So definitely might be some positive things coming. But right now, based on the technicals, I just want to break it down on what the technicals are currently saying. So right now, it did try to get from the lower to the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band, but unfortunately it is failing. Especially it's hard to do that with the broader market very much red today. So it is pulling back a little bit, but because of this pullback, it is going to result in a little bit more of a consolidation because stochastic is also at around 54. So with that being at 54, it is getting a little bit high potentially. Still neutral-ish, but getting very close to being overbought. So I think regardless, even there is a deviation, so a nice bullish underlying sentiment with Polestar. But despite that though, I think with the kind of rejection of the moving into this area right here, I think it is going to consolidate and go down a little bit more, potentially of course. And like I've said in the past, at least last couple of videos, I've pointed out the fact that based on the fib levels, things have readjusted right now though. So currently $3.81. And so it is between that pivot and the S1, which in general isn't too bad. A lot of growth stocks as of right now are between that S2 and S1. But as you can tell, it is a very slippery slope. If it does get below this $3.24, that's the next point to really watch for. If it does unfortunately break below that, then it could potentially be $2.65. And that's absolutely crazy. The fact that it's at $2 or potentially even at $2 in the coming future, if it fails to obviously get past this 418 range, it's crazy. I don't understand what the market is wanting from Polestar, because Polestar is hitting their mark. They actually do have a good amount of operational updates as well coming in 2023. So I'm not really understanding. So I think this article as well does, for the most part, reiterate exactly that same thing. And for those of you that watch my channel, you know I'm a very big numbers guy. And the stats all do justify that there's going to be a lot of good things coming for EVs, that the demand is very much there. The only negative is just the fact that the higher interest rate environment. There's still inflation very much on a global scale. So a lot of people are just focusing on that aspect and neglecting the potential benefits or the potential discounts, for instance, with Polestar and some other EVs as well. And it's kind of weird as well to see that the latest actual analyst ratings, the latest was from February the 15th, one of which was from Barclays, and there was on November in 2022, so way back when, and that was from Citigroup. So a lot of analysts, even in that regard, don't seem to really like Polestar for whatever reason. Once again, I'm not a financial advisor, so make sure you guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. And on a side note, if you are looking for a lot of good information such as this, click on the link in the description below and take a look at Interactive Brokers. But for instance, even looking at the social sentiment right now, it's kind of mixed. So it's weird to see the fact that a lot of the time it is very much positive, but yet Polestar, based on the price, isn't really representing that. So it's very weird. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of some data points, starting with shorts. Again, as I've said in the past, I don't see Polestar as a squeeze, just like to bring this up as a benchmark potentially. So currently the short score is 64, utilization is around 81%, and currently shorts are increasing around 17,000 shares, so kind of small. 2.66% of the free float's being shorted. Cost to borrow average is around 14%. 6.92 million shares overall being shorted as well. So it is what it is. I think in general, once they start to really ramp up and then once the economy starts to go through in a little bit more of an expansionary stage, this is where you will start to see a little bit more of a exiting of shorts, but still 2.66% is fairly small. Just to put that in perspective, I'll show you guys what Tesla's short interest is as well. So once again, short score in that regard is 31, so very, very small, and their short interest is 3.21%. So Polestar is not doing too bad in the grand scheme of things. As far as options activity, you do see a ton of calls, and this one is very, very abnormal. So this one stands out clearly. A lot of upside is anticipated in the coming weeks, and based on this, it looks like around 2 weeks. This is what that big candle was in reality. So I think a lot of good things are coming potentially Polestar's way, maybe. When it comes down to the actual transaction, so on the dark pool, there's only been one today, 107,000. As far as secondary market, let's take a look at Polestar. So Polestar, there was one today, $163,000, which both dark pool and secondary market is kind of in line with the forecast, so nothing really abnormal there. Like I already mentioned, some points to really watch for is 324 and of course vice versa, $4.18. So it might be wedge bound between that range, but as of right now, a number of retail investors are getting into Polestar. So that is a very good change of events, especially like I said, I think a lot of people don't really understand why Polestar is going down truly, but they do know that they have a very good product, good operational updates, and especially 2023 is going to be fairly good for Polestar. So I think a lot of investors are in fact really seeing that value and getting in. And over and above that, like I mentioned, I think in the short term it might consolidate a little bit because of stochastic and potentially just the failing to transition into the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. But no matter what, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And without further ado, I appreciate you guys watching, as I'll make a lot of money on Polestar.